Veterans Day Assemblies of 2021. November 11th is a very special day for our community and our country, and it is an honor to be here today with some special guests. Thank you for joining us. We certainly appreciate your service. As well as a very special guest, Specialist Vi Stefanowicz, who's going to talk to us a little bit about his service in the military a little bit later. Before we begin, boys and girls, a quick reminder. Even though many of you are watching from your classrooms, it is important that we still practice active body listening today. So please be your best, most respectful audience for our guests and make sure that we're engaged in the presentations. And I guess I would be remiss if I did not thank our viewers at home who are watching this on our YouTube channel. This is a unique assembly, and hopefully it goes well and that everyone can hear us and see us clearly from home. Thank you for tuning in from home as well, so that we can recognize your service to our country. We're gathered today in recognition of Veterans Day. Veterans Day is an annual day of remembrance, reflection, and an opportunity to say thank you to all the people who have served our country in the military. We enjoy the freedoms we have today because of the sacrifices of the brave men and women who serve or have served in the military. It is an honor to host a few of you in attendance today and watching from home. Let's begin today with the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone should please rise. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now for a special musical performance from our grade 5 students, and this is Fazina, who will be singing the Star Spangled Banner. It is so nice and refreshing to hear you sing in person. That was lovely. Great job, boys and girls, and thank you, Mrs. Fazina. Next, we have a student presentation with Jackson Freya, Lucy Hall, and Parker Rossi.
Today is Veterans Day. Every year on November 11th, the people in the United States celebrate Veterans Day. The holiday honors veterans and people who served in the U.S. military. The day honors those veterans who died while fighting in a war. Veterans Day used to be called Armistice Day. An armistice is an agreement to stop fighting. Armistice Day was created to remember the end of World War I on November 11th, 1918. The first Armistice Day was in the United States was in 1919.
Armistice Day became an official national holiday in 1938.
In 1954, Armistice Day was renamed Veterans Day to remember soldiers who served not just World War I. To celebrate Veterans Day, some cities and towns have parades. Veterans from the area may march in the parades. Sometimes people visit cemeteries on Veterans Day. People may put flowers or flags in the graves of veterans to honor them. At Griswold School, we recognize and honor the sacrifice of those who served our country. We gather together each year for our annual Veterans Day Assembly. We honor members of our community and our families who have served with our Hall of Honor. We send letters and cards to veterans at our local Veterans Hospital and collect donations for boxes to Boots, which sends care packages to service members abroad. We are grateful for everyone who has served our country.
Thank you. It's very informative. Next, we have another student presentation from Gabby Bergola, Mika Sagenti, Amelia Damsowitz, Maddie Bacon, and Sydney McAdam.
Veterans are people who have served in the military in times of war and peace. There are 5 branches of the military I would like to acknowledge today. These are the U.S. Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, and Coast Guard. Each branch plays a unique role in the security of our country. The Army is the oldest and largest branch of the military established in 1775. The Army is considered to be the ground force of the military. Along with active duty soldiers, the Army also has 2 reserve groups, the Army Reserve and the Army National Guard. The Navy was also established in 1775 and is considered to be the defender of the seas. The Navy is the main supporter of the Air Force because it transports aircraft and provides a runway at sea. The Marine Corps was first established in 1775 and is the second smallest branch of the military. The main focus of the Marines is on ground force operations. This group does not have its own medical corps or National Guard, but does have a Marine Corps Reserve unit. The Air Force is the newest branch of the military. The Air Force is the newest branch of the military, officially established in 1947. Its main purpose is to support the security of the United States in air and space. The Air Force is also a main supporter of ground forces, providing air support during missions. This branch has 2 reserve units, the Air National Guard and the Air Force Reserves.
The Coast Guard is the smallest branch of the military, originally established in 1790. Many people do not realize that the Coast Guard is a separate branch with an active duty military members. The Coast Guard's main jobs are to control illegal immigration by sea and conduct rescues out at sea. It has 1 reserve unit, the Coast Guard Reserves.
Great job, fifth graders. Thank you for your presentations. They were very informative. So good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. That's better. I have the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker today. Today, we will hear from someone who is a very special person and is a beloved member of our town of Berlin. Henry Stefanowitz is our guest speaker today. He served our country in Vietnam as a member of the United States Army. Mr. Stefanowitz, or Mr. S, enjoys speaking to young people because he wants people to remember the sacrifice and service of his blood brothers. We're going to open our presentation today with a short video that will help you to get to know Mr. S.
He saw combat more times than he could count, never knowing if he'd make it back to Connecticut to see his wife or family. And his country honored him for bravery, but he never received the medal.
Now, almost 40 years after he left Vietnam, a Connecticut Army vet gets the recognition he deserves. News 8's Jamie Muro has more from Kensington.
Sunday, 12:24 p.m.
A journey to feel the gratitude of a nation ended with one simple phone call.
This is for Henry. Henry, this is Heather Sandler. I'm calling from Senator Blumenthal's office.
Henry Stefanowicz has lived through hell, witnessed horrors most of us can't possibly fathom.
You were constantly looking over your shoulder to see if, someone was going to do something harmful to you.
His bravery and loyalty during combat in Vietnam was actually recognized with a Bronze Star on March 19, 1970, the same day he was honorably discharged. But for whatever reason, the award never came home. The nightmares did.
He still gets nightmares, now and then that stay with him all day long.
Appreciation for service did not come easily following the war, but Henry never resented it, never let disgust consume him towards the country he loved. But it would be nice after what he went through, just to have that star.
To deal with that, not only physically, but emotionally and mentally, that stress you go through, you can't explain it I can't find the right words to explain it to you.
Almost 40 years later, a call to Senator Richard Blumenthal's office would set things into motion.
It's about your Bronze Star, and I wanted to let you know that we have it.
It's long overdue and should have been presented long ago.
Henry discovered Sunday his star would finally be coming home.
Finally, it's here, and I'll cherish it forever.
It took far too long for his country to officially say thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
But in that passage of time, his love and pride for his country continued to shine.
Very proud of him, very happy, very happy, and just hoping that it helps.
Good things come to those who do their job and take care of their blood brothers.
For 10 years, Henry has left his house here in Kensington and gone to speak to area schools about the Vietnam experience and why soldiers should be remembered. Starting tomorrow, he has a new dimension to share with those students, how he earned a Bronze Star. Reporting from Kensington, I'm Jamie Muro, News 8.
Mr. Stefanowicz was awarded the Bronze Star for his heroic and meritorious deed in armed conflict. This award is a signal of his sacrifice, bravery, and honor while serving our country. We are so grateful for his service and are honored to have him share his story with us today. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Stefanowicz to our school.
Thank you. Today's the day that we honor all veterans, and I especially think of my fellow veterans from Vietnam, my blood brothers, and in the town of Berlin, we have 4 people who sacrificed their lives. Their names are on the wall in Washington. The names are Mike Gamore, a classmate of mine in high school, Donald Seeger, Robert Bittner, and Michael Dinda, my blood brothers. Vietnam was a different type of war in many ways. It's a war that tore our country apart because the majority of people in the United States did not agree with us being involved in the war in Vietnam, and they blamed it on the soldiers. And soldiers do not get you into a war, the politicians do. We did our job to the best of our ability. Thinking back to Vietnam, the only reason I can stand here today and tell you my story I survived in Vietnam because of something I learned in school. Something I learned in a math class in high school, and on November 4th, 1969, probably my worst day in Vietnam. There were no good days in Vietnam. Some were just worse than others. On November 4th, we were in a tremendous battle at Landing Zone Buttons, which is near the village of Song Bay, near the Cambodian border, and we were in the process of being overrun. We were completely surrounded, and we were taking heavy casualties. I had a flashback of a way to calculate mathematical data to set on our artillery guns, to fire our guns at a very close-in range without harming our own soldiers and suppressing the enemy from advancing. Fortunately, I was paying attention that day in school, and because of what I did, I was awarded the Bronze Star. Yes, I saved some lives, but I also think of my blood brothers that I lost that day, more than any other day in Vietnam. When we came home from Vietnam, because of a lot of citizens disagreeing with the war, we were never thanked for our service. We were treated as criminals. Our uniforms were torn off, we were spit on, we were beat up, and we never received that thank you. And it wasn't until about 20 years after the end of the Vietnam War that America realized that it had made a mistake in the way it treated us. But by then, in many ways, it was too late, because many of my blood brothers had already passed away, those that were fortunate enough to come home alive, because of things like the cause Agent Orange that was used in Vietnam causes cancer and diabetes and other diseases, and I lost many of my blood brothers at a very early age. Many of us also came home with not the physical wounds of war, but the psychological or the mental wounds of war that we carry with us to this day. And we have memories and flashbacks and things that we remember about our days in Vietnam that are hard to deal with. That's why anytime you're out in public and you see someone in a military uniform, please have the courage to walk up to them and say thank you for their service, because every soldier deserves that respect and that thank you. I'm going to read you a poem that was written by one of my blood brothers that I wanted to share with you. And the title of it is, What is a Vietnam Veteran? What is a Vietnam veteran? He is a man who once was a boy who loved to joke and play with his buddies. He is a man who once never believed in fear or death. He is a man who in one day learns fear was real. He is a man who grew up very fast in the world of real-life death and not the games you play as a kid, like cops and robbers. He is a man who learns to cry when fear overtook him. He is a man who learns to have faith in his buddies to help him survive in battle. He is a man who came home to hate and scorn from his friends. He is a man who must now live with the demons of his past. He is a man who must now live in a world of life, love, and pain. He is a man who must deal with his wounds that he brought home from a war far from home. He is a man who must stand sometimes alone, but always with the love and faith of his family and those who have been there also. What is a Vietnam vet? He is a man who can stand tall in his heart and still believes in his country. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stefano. That was wonderful. Right now, I'd like to invite Mrs. Jutras to come up with her Community Kids representative.
Our Griswold School community proudly came together for a common goal, to bring smiles to our soldiers who could not be home with their families for the holidays. Community kids helped collect items for boxes to boots, a program started by a former Griswold School student, Liam Goldman, and his family. Griswold School filled 6 boxes with items for the troops. We know that some of our soldiers receiving the care package is the only connection to the home they have. Our soldiers are our heroes. These care packages are a sign of our appreciation and support.
Today and every day, we honor the service and sacrifice of the members of the U.S. military. We would like to honor each of the veterans gathered here today. Can I first have my 5th grade presenters come up to give me a hand? So when we call your name, we ask you to please come up so that we may honor you and thank you for your service. Henry Stefanowitz, United States Army. Guest of Ethan and Olivia Greenwood, Anthony Cruz, United States Air Force. Guest of Evelyn and Jackson Correo, Matthew Correo, United States Marine Corps. Guest of Evelyn and Jackson Correo, Stephanie Correo, United States Navy. Guest of Adeline Borbotnik, Robert DePeva, United States Navy. Guest of Brody and Ella Reboire, Dean Reboire, United States Marine Corps. Guest of R.J. Beanie, David Beanie, United States Army. Guest of Arlie and Sage Solik, Jonathan Sturgeon, United States Marine Corps. Guest of Gracie Glazier, John Simeon, United States Air Force. Let's give all of our veterans here and at home a round of applause.
Thank you so much to all our student helpers who helped us prepare the assembly today, and to Mrs. Quinn, and to our special guests, and everyone who helped make this, this unique assembly possible. Thank you to Mr. Smith for helping us with the recording. Thank you, Mrs. Cicina, for the musical accompaniment, to Mrs. Jutras for Community Kids, and to everyone who shared in putting together this wonderful recognition assembly. We're going to close today with another song from our 5th grade students, American the Beautiful. But before we sing American the Beautiful, I want to say that to our special guests and to our students watching in the classrooms, when the assembly is over, Mrs. Zupp is going to call down into the classrooms so that our guests can have an opportunity to have a photo with your students who invited you here today as well too. So please, veterans, please remain after the song so that we can have your students come down and see you and thank you in person as well. And with that, I'm going to pass it off to Mrs. Spazina, who's going to close us with a version of America the Beautiful.